Hi. I'm going to talk a little bit about how holistic health relates to midwifery. Um, one of the things that I have learned through this course is that raw foods is so extremely important. And I remember like watching a documentary a couple of years ago about it was called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. And it was very eye-opening for me. And I did the juicing diet that I had done with them, that I had read about and found tons of information online about, and did all of that. And it really changed my life because I began to learn about what kombucha was. I began to learn about sprouting things. And so some of the time we would be able to just go and get like sprouted I think it was seaweed. I can't remember offhand right now. Um, it kind of looked like seaweed. Um, I don't remember right off the top of my head. Um, but I think what's really important is that people eat whole foods and not unprocessed food and not processed foods. I'm sorry, not we want to eat unprocessed foods. Um, because if you, especially as midwives, so what would I do to help promote things like that? I think that I would probably make up a diet pamphlet that I give out to clients and I say, hey, this is what the research shows. And so, I mean, I know that sometimes it's easier to just go and get something else that's like fast food or things like that, but maybe perhaps having something that you can just grab out of your fridge, whether it be some grapes or um, something that's whole food, like maybe a yogurt or not something that's 100% processed. And I actually recently had this conversation with somebody else where we were talking about whole foods and how like eating crackers might not be the best thing for you because crackers with peanut butter. Peanut butter is great for you, especially raw peanut butter, but you also have to think about the fact that, the crackers that you're eating might not be the healthiest. We don't know exactly what ingredients are put inside some of our foods. I mean, yes, they're labeled and they're all supposed to be labeled, but it's not necessarily a thing that we can do, that we know exactly what's in there. And that's something that I have thought about. Um, the other thing that I have found personally for me is drinking a green tea. I mean, a green tea daily is one thing that I try and do. The other thing is that I really try and get into and do is do like a protein shake in the morning that has like either store bought protein shakes, which I'm now finding out that those are really not good for you. Um, and it surprises me because a lot of surgeons, especially for people that have had the gastric sleeve or other bariatric surgery, they promote all these protein shakes. And I had a conversation with my primary care doctor yesterday who I was like, yeah, I really need to go back to shakes for a little while. And she said, why don't you do bone broth for 2 weeks and see how you feel? Because I've had some personal health stuff going on. And so that's something that I may consider and that's something that I may do. And I would be happy to share with you how that turns out. But it would be, I think that as midwives, I think that we really need to teach people. Um, I think that there needs to be more classes to teach people on how to make their own fermented foods or make their own sprouts or things like that. Not just something that you have to physically sign up for and go, because I know that in modern day society, not everybody has time for that. But definitely something that we can create, like maybe the midwifery community can go out and teach people, or the doulas, or someone to just go out and teach people and say, hey, I'm here for you if you have any questions, or this is how we do this, or even just come out and say, I'm going to teach you how to do this, and you can either keep that knowledge, or you can pass it on to keep that knowledge to yourself or pass it on to someone else. um, but yeah, I mean, with this class alone, and with a class that I'm taking this semester, I have made a lot of changes in my diet and in my life, and I really, really like this class.